Hey yo, what it do, YouTube? Man, y'all know what it is. Y'all know who it is. Charger Conversations. Your mans and them. Your uncle. Hostile Takeover. Every once in a while, I touch on a subject that ain't that big, or just plain make a hot ass take. This just might be both. So, what are we getting into? It's called benevolent sexism. A lot of people don't know what that is, so let me break it down. It's where an aspect of sexism actually benefits someone instead of taking away from them, degrading them, whatever, right? Here's the problem. It's still sexism. So what's an example of it? All right. Chivalry. It's preferential treatment for one sex based on the simple fact that they're of that sex. Opening car doors, blah, blah, blah. You know, giving her your jacket when it's cold. All that shit women say they still want, even though they want to get rid of sexism. Another example, protect women. Why do y'all need to be protected if you're equal? If you're just as good as a man in every aspect, why do we need to protect you? Right? Believe all women is sexism. Benevolent sexism. Their way, not ours, of course. And that's the last example I'm going to bring up because it ties into what exactly I'm going to talk. It ties exactly into what I'm about to talk about. I'm a Dodgers fan. I don't have season tickets in my name, but I have access to season tickets. Matter of fact, my wife and I bought 31 games for next season. 31 out of 81. We bought it. Alright? I'm not going to go to 31 games. I'm going to make my money. My wife and I are going to make our money off the shit. And basically go to the Dodger games that we do go to for free. What does that have to do with shit? Well, a former Dodgers pitcher named Trevor Bauer got me too. This girl from San Diego named Lindsay Hill. I don't know how they got in contact with each other or whatever, but they hooked up, you know, got a little kinky, whatever. And then she cried foul. She said he beat her, SA'd her, basically damn near raped her, or, choked her till she went unconscious, punched her in the face, all this. Never filed a criminal report, but did file a civil lawsuit. Turns out she wasn't telling the truth. Go figure. Now, the Dodgers released Trevor Bauer, who was in the process of negotiating a $200 million contract. Released him. He hasn't played in the majors since. He missed an entire season. 2 years ago. He missed that entire season. Last season, he played in Japan, right? Now, since there was no criminal case, no criminal charges filed, Trevor Bauer did not have access to any evidence. So what he did, he sued her. She countersued. Now all the evidence gets to come out. Turns out, there is no evidence. There was no crime. There was none of the things that she claimed. This is how bad she lied. If you know anything about restraining orders, they pretty much give them to anybody who asks, unless there's absolutely zero evidence that it's needed. She couldn't get one. The court denied her a restraining order. Now, he hasn't paid her any money. The civil suit has been dropped. He hasn't paid her one dime. But that doesn't mean it didn't cost him anything. It cost him 2 seasons in the majors. It cost him millions of dollars. Not to mention the lawyer's fees to get his name cleared. It's a hell of a lot, don't you think? I do. So, what does this have to do with benevolent sexism? It's a clear case of it. Just because she's a woman and cried foul, this man lost millions of dollars. He's basically lost 2 years of his career, and it's not known whether or not he can ever come back. No team, as far as I know, has offered him a deal, much less the team that he got released from, my favorite team, the Dodgers. Here's what it cost the Dodgers, honestly. 2 years ago, the Dodgers lost the World Series in 6 games because they did not have their number 2 pitcher. Now, a World Series appearance and a National League pennant is a good season by any account. But if they'd had, what could have happened if they had their number 2 pitcher, who was basically the equivalent of their number 1, just didn't have the name? It might have been even a little better than their number 1 pitcher. Do they win the World Series? Maybe. Do they at least go to Game 7? Probably. Hell, that bitch even cost me and my wife some money. We had tickets to Game 7 that we weren't going to go to. We were going to sell them. Game 7 World Series tickets, 15 rows behind home plate, would have went conservatively $7,000 a piece. That's $28,000. No, they did not cost that much. So her lie cost him, cost the Dodgers, and cost me and my wife. So, check this out. Why is she not facing criminal charges? She's cost the court thousands of dollars, which is, of course, paid for by the state of California, that that she's not on the hook for any of it at all. And while Trevor Bauer did not pay her one penny, she got a $300,000 settlement from her insurance company for lying. How that works, I have no clue. But let's go back even further. There was a high school football player who was headed to USC from the city of Long Beach, California, named Brian Banks. He basically had a scholarship to USC locked up. He was gonna play for Pete Carroll in USC's heyday. He got accused of rape. The city of Long Beach, via the school district, settled a lawsuit out of court with this girl for over $2 million. But that's not even the biggest tragedy of this story. Brian Banks, a teenager, a high school football player, teenager, not a grown man, was basically coerced into signing a plea agreement. His own lawyer told him that just from the fact that he was young, big, and black, the jury was going to convict him. Signs a plea agreement, does 9 years in prison. 9 years. Here's the problem with all of that. Not only did he not commit the offense, it's not like they had the wrong guy. It's not just that he didn't commit it. It never happened. This girl was never assaulted. Cost him 9 years of his life, a college scholarship, a college education and degree from USC, and possibly a pro football career. For something that didn't happen. Now, like I said, benevolent sexism is still sexism. Just like a so-called positive stereotype is still a stereotype, whether you think it benefits or not. The stereotype that black people run fast, black men have big dicks, black women are hypersexual. All these stereotypes are still stereotypes. And here's the problem with stereotypes. They're never 100% true. Right? Never. So people that these assumptions and characterizations don't apply to get lumped in with everyone else. That's the problem. So with these accusations and benevolent sexism, it affects all men because all men get lumped into these categories. And no, that's not a fucking good thing for anybody, not women, not men. Now, women don't truly want to be equal. They want equal rights, which I actually agree with. Why? Because they're U.S. citizens, and most women pay taxes, which should, regardless of the amount of taxes they pay, should give them equal protection under the law and equal status politically. After that, it gets dicey because they want traditional men, they want chivalrous men, they want the benefits of sexism with none of the repercussions. And this isn't a post or a video bashing women. This is just the facts of what's going on. The problem with that is that it puts women in a position of superiority and not equality. Not to mention that it furthers this gender war shit that I've already told y'all I'm vehemently against. I don't like it. I can't stand it. And it needs to end. But we both have to end it. Men and women have to end it together. If one ends it and one doesn't, then all that means is that someone basically surrendered. And I don't think anybody wants that. Well, maybe some women and some men. But the general population, the average everyday man and woman, don't want that. So, how do we fix it? We just stop. There's no, I was right, you were wrong, you were right, I was wrong, no apologies, none of that. We just stop. It's literally that simple. Everybody just shuts the fuck up and stops talking shit. And we take people, accusations, criminal cases and all that on a case-by-case basis. And stop making people in general guilty until proven innocent. But that's a fantasy world as of right now. Unfortunately, that's not the reality. Because the people that want to end the gender war are the silent majority. And the loud minority keeps this shit going. So, either everybody gets some of what they want and is pissed off about the other, or nobody gets what they want and everybody's pissed off. Which one is better for society? Which one is better for humanity? It's obvious. People won't make the fucking choice. And that's some sad shit. Middle fingers up. Be safe. Stay dangerous.